Charles, we need your Hochul. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? So, just to prepare you all, we are here to save 340B and to save the 340B safety net. All right? We're going to walk over across the street in front of Governor Hochul's office. There is another press conference happening for NYC. We want to be in solidarity with NYC, so once we walk over, we're going to let them speak and do their press conference, and then we're going to kick into ours, okay? So we go over, we chant big, we rally, but then we give them their space and make sure to honor what they're doing to fight for people's lives. Okay? All right. Are you all ready? Are you all ready? All right. Let's go. Save our safety net. Save our safety net. Save our safety net. Save our safety net. Save our safety net! 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 Safety net! Save our 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 Save our safety net! 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 Save our
Hochul to stop forgetting about public housing tenants, stop forgetting about LGBTQ services that are under attack, and that she needs to prioritize all of us in her budget. My name is Juanita Lewis. I'm the Executive Director of Community Voices Heard. And as you can see, we're in solidarity with all of our brothers and sisters fighting against this bad budget. So we're going to share the group, we're going to share the spotlight because there's a lot that we need to talk about. And so right now, we're going to talk about the fact that there are over 70,000 public housing tenants that are at the risk of eviction because Governor Hochul did not prioritize them in the budget, particularly for COVID relief money. When we were all trying to fill up the emergency rental assistance program, you know who wasn't thought about? Public housing tenants. We're calling on Governor Hochul and Assembly Speaker Carl Heastie and also Senate Majority Leader Andrew Cousins to fight for public housing tenants across the state, and particularly fighting for NYC residents to make sure that we have $589 million in this budget. Where the money at? We know that COVID took a lot of our friends and our families. We know that people lost jobs. And the last thing you need to worry about now is if you have a place to stay, a roof over your head. Yes. And so we're saying now that they have to prioritize us in this budget, that she needs to prioritize us. And so we're going to have a couple of speakers from public housing, right? We've got one of our leaders from Polo Grounds, Barbara Williams, is going to talk about what this means for her and her tenants in Polo Grounds. Barbara.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Barbara Williams, and I'm a member of Community Voices Heard. And I'm also a public housing resident. So I'm fighting for public housing along with everyone here. I'm tired of NYC residents being put at the back of the line. That ain't right. Every time something come up, we're at the back of the line. We don't have any more money. My community went through so much during the pandemic. People struggled. I helped with neighborhood food pantry. And when the pandemic began, the number of families showing up was almost tripled. Almost tripled. People can't afford to feed their families. People can't afford to medication and other bills.
Y'all shouldn't have voted for her.
People have struggled to make ends meet as the cost of everything has gone up. People lost jobs and couldn't pay their rent. It hurts to see neighbors struggle so hard. It really hurts. It's especially hurtful when you see children involved in the struggle. And we probably got more children than adults that's going through this. Because each household has at least one child. You know, there are 791 households in my development alone that owe back rent and are facing eviction. And that's just one development. These families and their children are depending on our elected officials to come through. What's going on? We voted for these people. When are they going to come through for us? It is unfair that all the other renters in the state got COVID rental assistance while residents in public housing at Section 8 were put at the end of the line yet again. Shame.
Shame.
Public housing residents are always at the end of the line.
Always.
And we are being slapped in the face as if we don't matter. Most people in public housing work. Most people work. and many of those who don't work are retired. We were told that the state would have the money for people who were laid off or got sick and couldn't pay their rent. Then in January, we were told that there was no money left for families in public housing. That ain't right. Our government is bailing out Wall Street while we are being told we don't matter.
That ain't right.
It is totally unacceptable, and I say it again, unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
We have to stand up and say enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
The governor needs to add the money to this year's budget to help Niger residents. We will not stand back and say nothing. This is why we are rallying here today, because public housing is always at the end of the line. We are speaking up as voters and letting our elected officials know that this has to stop, and it has to stop now. They must put money in the budget to right this very wrong. Thank you.
When poor people are under attack, what do? Stand up like that. When poor people are under attack, what do? Stand up like that. When poor people are under attack, what do? Stand up like that. When public housing is under attack, what do? Stand up like that. When LGBTQIA is under attack, what do? Stand up like that. When all of us are under attack, what do? Stand up like that. So now we're going to have Councilmember Alexa Aviles, who is here with us, who is the chair of the Public Housing Committee in the New York City Council. Thank you. I was like, see, I'm projecting. New York City Council. And she's here fighting with us, and she's going to say a few words. Councilmember. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's right. Hello, everyone. How we doing?
Hello.
Right. It's a good day to fully invest in NYCHA.
Yes.
Invest in NYCHA with the urgency, with the importance that this lovely, incredible asset is to New York City. So I want you to know, my name is Alexa Aviles. I am the council representative for District 38 in Brooklyn, which includes Red Hook, Sunset Park, and portions of other neighborhoods. But I have the honor and privilege of being the chair of the Committee on Public Housing at the New York City Council. And so I just want to say that, New York was the only state to put subsidized housing residents at the back of the line for a rental assistance. That's a damn shame. Since Governor Pataki, New York State has not regularly contributed to operating or capital funds to support the lowest income tenants who call public housing home across the state. They have systematically defunded public housing. What we're seeing today is the result of decades of disinvestment in public housing. It did not happen by happenstance. These were policy decisions. These were funding decisions that were made year in and year out by state representatives, by federal representatives, and by local representatives. The $538 million for NYCHA and the $51 million we are demanding for the upstate housing authorities is just the floor of what we need to be investing in public housing. If we are serious about addressing New York's housing crisis, we must recognize that public housing is part of the solution and must, absolutely must, match our words with dollars.
Yes.
Yes. We need the money.
Where's the money?
Where's the money? We don't want any more empty promises. We also don't want chump change. We have a $200 billion budget, and that budget tells you what's important, and we keep being left to the end. And that is not okay, because that's our money. We are taxpayer dollar. We right? And I say the same thing for the city. The city has been better in investing, but it needs to do better because we need more, and our residents deserve more. Our city agencies should be putting public housing residents at the front of the line, not sending them to NYCHA. NYCHA's not New York City. So we need to stop putting our public housing residents, treating them as second-class citizens. Right. So we're here
Show us the money.
That's right, show us the money.
Not putting us out. Not putting us out. We need this.
That's right. We need this investment.
It's priority.
This should be a priority. Our people should be a priority. Our health and dignity should be a priority. If you want to talk about public safety, then you need to talk about investing in safe and secure housing. Because what keeps us safe is housing. Dignified housing. That's what keeps us safe.
You're right.
So that's right. So I'm going to close out here and just say, this is honestly, again, Governor Hochul, New York State Legislature. 538 and 51 million is the floor. We know NYCHA needs more. You know NYCHA needs more. All right? If you care about housing, if you care about New York State tenants, residents, then you need to actually do the thing. And doing the thing is fully investing in it. Giving operating funds, giving capital funds, and putting us in the front of the line, not in the back. And so we need this money. We need you to deliver. We are done with the promises, and we are done with actually being invisibilized, because that's what's been happening over the years, right? It's like public housing residents don't even exist. Well, we built this city, and we demand full investment in the housing infrastructure. Public housing is social housing. It is the most critical asset to New York City. It is the one thing that has made sure Black and brown communities remain in this city. If again, you believe in affordable housing, you must fully invest in public housing at every level of government. Thank you so much.
Public housing is under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. The safety net is under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. We're all under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. We're all under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. We're all under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Oh, shoot, almost took me out. Right, stand up and fight back. So now we've got our last speaker. We've got Ann Valdez, who's coming all the way from Coney Island to represent one of our tenants who's unable to be here today because she's sick, and who tried applying for the ERAP program and was not approved. And so who is at risk of a lot of different things happening now. So Ann, please just come share your story.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
As you heard, my name is Ann Valdez. I am a third-generation resident in Gravesend Houses in Coney Island. And I've been a long-term public housing constituent and member of Community Voices Heard over 20 years. COVID-19 disrupted so many lives, and many people in NYCHA fell behind in their rent. Today I am reading the testimony of the CVH member who can't be here because she is recovering from surgery. She wanted to make sure that elected officials heard about what she and so many other residents of NYCHA have been going through. My name is Maria, and I live in the Bronx River Houses development in the Bronx, New York, and have been living in NYCHA for most of my life. I am here today to tell you my experience and hardship with NYCHA and the rental assistance support needed in public housing. In 2019, my husband passed away. When he was alive, we both had incomes to cover our rent, but it took a very long time to have my husband removed as a member of our household to adjust the cost of my rent. It became difficult for me to continue to pay for that amount when it was just me, especially considering other outside medical expenses. I applied for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program in 2021 and was approved, but still had not received any support. During that time, I went to visit family
and when I came back home, my house was flooded from a pipe burst in the building. I lost my furniture due to damages and even lost my 2 pet birds that died from drinking the dirty water that was falling in their cage. From the flooding, my apartment developed black mold, which caused more health issues, including respiratory and skin conditions that I currently pay out of for my pocket. ERAP would be helpful for me to finally catch up on my expenses, but has come and my rent has been increased and I can't afford it with only my income. I can't receive reimbursement from HRA because I was informed I'd be removed from receiving ERAP. The state must enact statewide emergency rental assistance program for public housing residents and provide $538 million for rental arrears at NYCHA and $51 million for public housing authorities outside of New York City. What Maria has gone through is heartbreaking. Maria and thousands more public housing residents are facing eviction. They are facing eviction after going through family deaths and health issues and struggles, and it isn't right. The state needs to right the wrongs and make sure that NYCHA residents get the same help that everyone else got. The governor must fund rental assistance for public housing budget as well as outside rental assistance. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
And I appreciate your support.
So you've heard from our members, you've heard from the council member who is calling on the state, calling on Governor Hochul to make sure we stop putting public housing tenants at the back of the line. Just like how you go to a club and you've got the red velvet rope and who gets to go places, we need to move in front of the rope so we can make sure that our tenants are getting the money that they deserve. So Governor Hochul, you see us, we're not going anywhere. Show us the money and put that money in the budget. We want to make sure that over 70,000 public housing tenants are able to stay in their homes. They're able to take care of themselves and their families, and that we get that over $500 million to make sure that public housing tenants stay in their homes. Thank you, because what happens when poor people are under attack? What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When poor people are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Public housing is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Safety net is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
I'm going to kick it over to Reed to talk about this next important action, an important bill that we need to make sure is in the state budget. So we are all here in solidarity, because when when one of us is impacted, all of us are impacted.
That's right. All right. Governor Hochul has harmed LGBT services with this harmful Medicaid pharmacy carve-out. So I want to honor our allies at NYCHA and Community Voices Heard, who've given a beautiful press conference. But we have a lot more to say, and we need the press to stick around to hear it. That's right. All right. So if we can get our banner over here and our speakers ready. All right.
Black banner.
Yeah.
Step back a minute. Yep. There you go.
All right. Thank you. All right. So, earlier this week, can you all hear me?
Yes!
Can you all hear me?
Yes!
Earlier this week, Buffalo organizations, LGBT groups, disinvited Governor Hochul from Buffalo Pride.
Yeah.
They said, you are not invited to the Buffalo Pride Parade this year, Governor Hochul. You cannot come to Buffalo Pride this year, Governor Hochul.
Good.
Why did they do that? Because Governor Hochul is pushing through a Medicaid pharmacy carve-out that will harm LGBTQ services across the state. Groups today are calling on the Pride organizers in New York City to either disinvite Governor Hochul from New York City Pride or else boycott the New York City Pride Parade and protest the governor for harming LGBT services.
And put them in the back of the line.
We're going to hear today from many leaders of the LGBT community and service providers and people who will be harmed by these cuts. First up is Sharon Duke from Alliance for Positive Change.
Hi, everybody. Hey, I'm Sharon Duke, Executive Director at Alliance for Positive Change. And I am here today in solidarity with housing programs, medical programs, community health providers, providers of services to the LGBTQ populations, to people living with HIV, to people who use drugs, to people who need our services. We are here today to tell Governor Hochul to stop the Medicaid carve-out.
That's right!
Reverse the 340B carve-out. It sounds wonky, but the impact is devastating. The impact of what Amir Basiri, the Medicaid director, who does not care about the health of low-income New Yorkers across our great state. He wants to say to the legislature, to the governor, to the governing process that he doesn't care about the leadership in Albany. He wants to move forward with this carve-out. The Medicaid carve-out of the pharmacy benefit will result in lost jobs. It will result in lost services. And worst of all, it will result in lost health and access to medications, to health care, to food pantry, to transportation, to navigation, to all kinds of services that we provide.
Mental health
Services, harm reduction, substance use, housing, all of the services that our communities across New York State need. We, the safety net providers of New York State, are investing tens of millions of dollars into our communities to ensure that low-income New Yorkers across our great state have access to the services that they need and deserve.
Yes.
Governor Hochul has the power to stop the carve-out. Governor Hochul has the power to save lives. Governor Hochul has the power to save jobs and save services. And we're saying, Governor Hochul, do not allow this carve-out to go through. Tell your Medicaid director to stand down. Tell your Medicaid director to do his job and serve the people of this great state that he is supposed to be representing and caring about. We, the New York State safety net providers across from Buffalo to Brooklyn, we are providing the services and the resources that our communities need, the LGBTQ plus community, the people who use drugs, the homeless, the public housing, people with harm reduction needs, and people with mental health needs. Our programs, our services, our resources are the tapestry and the glue that keeps people connected to care. And our governor is allowing Medicaid to take that money out of our communities and hurt the health of the people who need it the most.
Shame.
That is shame. Governor Hochul, reverse the carve-out. Governor Hochul, reverse the carve-out. Governor Hochul, reverse the carve-out. Governor Hochul, reverse the carve-out.
Thank you. So I I want to hear everybody say, no pride, Hochul!
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 When trans lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up like that!
When gay lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up like that!
When lesbian lives are under attack, what do we do? When bi lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up like that!
When non-conforming lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up like that!
That's right! So, next, that's right! Next up, we have Andrea Bogat to speak about the impact of cuts to LGBT services that Hochul is proposing. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning!
Happy International Day of Transgender Visibility. My name is Andrea Bogat. I go by Bo for short, and I'm a care manager at Housing Work. And I'm here to let you know that my trans and non-binary siblings are under attack right now.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
If this carve-out goes into effect, how are we going to make sure that my HIV-positive siblings have access to supportive services, care, and treatment?
Right. That ain't right.
If this carve-out goes into effect, my trans and non-binary siblings are left to scavenge for HRT, a journey that uplifts and saves lives. We at Housing Work save lives. Yes. Living in New York City, I thought we would be protected from anti-trans and anti-LGBT rhetoric and legislation. However, Governor Hochul has deceived us again.
Deceived us.
April 1st is tomorrow. Governor Hochul is turning a blind eye to those who are experiencing marginalization, homelessness, illness, and violence. I ask you all to urgently say with me, queer lives matter!
Queer lives matter!
Trans lives matter!
Trans lives matter!
Black and brown trans lives matter!
Black and brown trans lives matter!
Can we get that one more time, a little louder? Trans lives matter!
Trans lives matter!
Black trans lives matter!
Black trans lives matter!
Thank you, everyone.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Andrea. So, next up, I want to ask our council member if you're ready to speak.
Where's she at?
Our council member, Alexa Avila. Thank you. Speaking on this issue. Thank you for standing in solidarity with us. Please help us call out Governor Hochul on this harmful cut to services. We need to stop the Medicaid pharmacy carve-out.
That's right, that's right. So, this way, why are our people being carved out? Why?
Tell us, please.
They don't care.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. If we want to talk about public safety, Governor Hochul, public safety is making sure that our people get the medications that they need. Public safety is making sure that our residents are in safe and dignified housing. Public safety is making sure that our residents get all the services that keep families safe and whole and thriving. Why would we cut the very things at such a critical time? We are not done with this pandemic.
No.
We still have the pandemic of capitalism that uses our body for profit. And we need to be done with this. We need to make sure that our public dollars are invested in our people, in the people, and stop kowtowing to pharmaceutical companies and private hospitals and all of those corporations that are making money hand over foot while we can't even afford prescriptions. Say no to the carve-out to every state legislator. If you purport to support working class people, then you must make sure that you vote against any carve-out, and you make sure you prioritize the working class people that voted you in office.
That's right.
And make sure.
That's right. Now you talk.
That's right, a tu pueblo. So protect the people, make sure we get what we deserve, what we should have, what is a human right. Healthcare is a human right, and our bodies should not be profit margins. And our government should not be aiding and abetting profit of corporations over our health and wellness. So with that, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Get this solamente para decirle bien brevemente, porque se me olvidan las cosas, digamos que respete la comunidad. Estamos aquí exigiendo que invierte totalmente en este programa. No queremos the carve out. No sé cómo se dice eso en español. This is community. This is collective care. We're caring for each other, right? This is what it's about. That's right. Healthcare is a human right. Por favor, es importante que no se corte los programas de la salud. Nuestra comunidad necesita sus medicamentos. Eso es. Gracias. Eso es Ella tiene que
es un abuso para nuestra comunidad y no lo vamos a permitir.
Jamás será vencido.
Unido, vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. Thank you so much. So, again, when trans lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up like that.
When gay lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up like that.
Black trans lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up like that.
When Latinx trans lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up like that.
Thank you. So next we have Anthony Randolph from Harlem United, who can talk about what the Hochul proposal and the cuts to healthcare will mean across the state. We want Hochul to halt the carve-out that is set to go into effect April 1st, tomorrow. She should be ashamed. She should be ashamed. Anthony, please tell us, what is the harm of this carve-out?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony Randolph, and I am you and you are me.
Yes.
And we need to let Governor Hochul know that our lives matter, that we're not a dollar sign, we're not a quota to be met, we're human beings. Let me tell you, when I got sick and I was at my lowest, and I went to the pharmacy to get my medication, they wouldn't give it to me. There was an issue, there was a problem. So what was I to do? What was I to do? I called Harlem United, and they in turn got in contact with AmeriCare. Within 15 minutes, I got my medication. Under the governor's plan, I'd have to call an 800 number and wait for a response. About the time I got a response, I wouldn't have needed medication. 340B works because I'm here now because of 340B. I'm here now because of 340B. And this is what you want to take away from us. People need their medication.
Yes, we do.
Do we need more people that's HIV positive without medication?
No.
Let her hear it. Do we need more people?
No.
Homelessness. This is going to affect our homelessness. I get supportive services. I'm scared I might lose my apartment. Do we need more homeless people in the street?
No.
What about mental illness?
No.
Do you think someone who's going through a crisis has enough sense to call an 800 number and wait for a response? No. So now you're attacking homeless people. You're attacking mental health people. You're attacking people who's HIV positive. This is going to affect the LGBTQ community. So we need to let her know to repeal this now. I say this, Governor Hochul. Harlem United has been saving lives for 30 years. AmeriCare has been saving lives for years. The Alliance for Positive Change has been saving lives for years. So I tell you, calm down. What are you going to do? Are you going to save lives? We voted for you. Now it's time for you to vote for us.
Yeah.
Thank you. I want to hear a chant again. No pride, Hochul!
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 You cannot cut services to community and then try to walk among community and seek praise. That is not acceptable. You are hearing from people who will be harmed by this carve-out. You need to listen, Governor Hochul. You need to stop the carve-out now. You need to be accountable. We will hear from Kasim Kone from African Services Committee about the harm of this carve-out. Thank you, Kasim.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Kasim Kone. I'm a program specialist at African Services Community in Harlem. I bring greatness and solidarity from our executive director, Amanda Lowe, and our small but mighty team of colleagues who work hard to serve our community. Many of those clients are LGBTQ New Yorkers living with HIV, who are also undocumented. I will repeat that again, undocumented, or with other precaution immigration studies. Because of their multiple vulnerability and marginalization, our clients really value stability. They want to receive calls from familiar members, hear familiar voices on the line, see familiar faces when they come to our office to receive the services they depend on. The proposed carve-out, the impact it will be have on 340B services and revenue. Through them, the reinsurance services they depend on. It put our stability and an organization at risk. And for many of our clients, other providers that we navigate and often escort them to will also be put at risk by the carve-out. Losing reliable access to trusted provider, threaten both physical and then mental health. Mental health. For all these reasons, and in solidarity with all the other organizations here today and their clients and community, we say cancel the carve-out and save up 340B. 340B! 340B! So, Kasim said, when healthcare is under attack, what do we do? Stand up like that! When mental health care is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up like that!
That's right. So I want to invite my colleague, Danik Martinez, to speak in Spanish and bring it home, and then we're going to have one more speaker.
Todo el mundo ya lo dijo en español, no lo voy a repetir más veces. Necesitamos que la gobernadora apoye cosas que beneficien a la comunidad, que ayuden a la comunidad de bajos ingresos y también de gente de media clase. Esto no se trata de raza ni de color, ni de political party. I'm a proud centrist and I'm a proud atheist. Because Republicans get HIV, Libertarians get HIV, everybody else get HIV. Religious people get HIV, atheists get HIV. Gobernadora, por favor, se lo ruego, no recorte el programa 340B, porque eso va a matar vidas, va a afectar a muchas personas, y sí, ¿sabe qué? Los billonarios, no, usted no solamente depende de los billonarios, es cierto que necesitamos dinero, usted necesita dinero para su campaña, pero no se olvide que usted también necesita los votantes. Sin los votantes usted no puede llegar a su poder. Recuerde que si alguien casi le gana por 7 puntos, tenga cuidado con lo que está haciendo, tenga mucho cuidado. También ayuda a pasar cash assistance grant increase for shelter, non-shelter people. $45 a month is not enough. Ayuda a pasar el cash assistance para shelter, la gente del shelter y la gente que no está en el shelter. ayude para otros programas que están pasando. Gobernadora, ayúdeme. Necesitamos con su apoyo. Y pues, solamente, ¿quién más me quiere ayudar en español? Ven para acá, ven para acá. Ven para acá, para que me ayude.
No somos estadística, somos seres humanos. Hemos
Así
votado
se habla.
por usted. Es una
No es
vergüenza
solamente
que en
mi
la
voz, la voz de
capital
ellos
del
también.
mundo la gente no esté recibiendo lo que merece. Respeto a nosotros. Respeto.
Votamos por usted.
Es un abuso lo que quieren hacer a nuestra
Dile que
comunidad.
votamos por ella.
Votamos por ustedes y somos bastantes. So, respétanos y danos lo que nos merecemos.
Exactamente, así se habla. Gracias. Un abrazo.
¡Bravo!
Can I hear it again? No pride, Hochul!
No pride, Hochul!
No pride, Hochul!
No pride, Hochul!
So the Buffalo organizations banned Hochul from Buffalo Pride this week. We want to make sure she's on alert that our lives matter, that community lives matter, that LGBT lives matter, and she needs to be accountable.
That's right.
She cannot count on support of people who she is cutting funding and services from, who she's cutting health care from. That is not okay. Right now, we have another, and our last speaker, Jackie Kilmer, Executive Director of Harlem United.
Thank you. Governor Hochul has said repeatedly, along with the Department of State, the Department of Health, that our lives matter, that health equity is a priority, that health access, increasing access to health care for all communities, the LGBTQ community, communities of color, that is a priority. That just can't be. Nope. It cannot be. Actions speak louder than words, Governor Hochul. Yeah. And if you allow this carve-out to go through, you will be saying you don't care. Health equity doesn't matter. Increasing access to health care for all of the communities that need the care so desperately doesn't matter to you. And the same is true for the Department of Health. Today is the day. Today is the day. The day. Today is the day for you to reverse the carve-out. You have to stop it. You have today. One day, that's it. To tell everybody that it really does matter to you, that these communities, all of us, are a priority to you, that health care is a priority to you, that health equity is a priority, that access is a priority, that the safety net is a priority. You've got one day. Do it today. Yes. End the carve-out. Yes. Thank
Save lives! Kill the carve-out! 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 Save lives!
Kill the carve-out!
Save lives!
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. What we see here is our collective power. What we see here today is our collective power. Community. What we see here today is our community. We have come together to speak to Governor Hochul and tell her there will be consequences.
That's right.
There will be consequences.
We travel.
Stop the carve-out now or else.
Yes.
Stop the carve-out now
Or else.
Stop the carve-out now.
Or else.
That's right. So, we are telling Governor Hochul that she will be protested at Pride if she moves forward with this carve-out. There will be anger in the community. The way her Department of Health has acted during this process is unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
The lack assessment of the racial health equity of this carve-out is unacceptable. Unacceptable. The lack of LGBT health equity assessment of this carve-out is unacceptable. Unacceptable. They are toying with people's lives. They are toying with our lives. And we are enough people, we matter, and we will hold her accountable.
That's right, yes.
We will hold her accountable. These groups here, these people, each of you have spent years fighting for more services, for improving services to all of our communities. Day and night, hard days, seeing our people die unnecessarily for not having enough support. And Governor Hochul is saying, I don't care about you. That is what she's saying. I don't care about you. We need to be angry today. We need to show her our anger, and we will be in the streets and hold her accountable if she moves forward with this carve-out. She needs to take responsibility. All right? So, what we want to say is save our safety net.
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 Save our safety net.